Well, a lot has changed with Facebook ads in 2020, and if you're like me, you're done with that dumpster fire of a year anyway. So let's look at my best tips of what's working right now going into 2021 with Facebook ads. So these are the things that separate the money-wasting ads from the truly profitable ones. So let's talk about it. Let's talk Facebook ads. So 2020 was a challenge, to say the least, for a lot of small businesses out there, and I truly hope that you're doing okay as we head into the new year. Now, a lot of people have some pretty harsh criticism of Facebook in general as a company, right? And as an ad platform. And that usually has a lot to do with some past failed attempts at using it. But like anything else in business, there are just certain things that work much better than others, and that is what this video is all about. Specifically, I'm going to show you some of my favorite pro tips and strategies that are working really well right now. So these are things that are going to make sure that your ads hit more of the right people and connect with them better, and that's going to result in more overall reach to your most ideal customers for far less money and, more profit on the back end. Now, these are all things that I've been doing with some pretty incredible results with my own campaigns over the past few months, so I know firsthand that this stuff works. But you're here for the tips, so here we go, starting with number 1, which is use as many different ad types as possible in your campaigns. Now, by ad types, what I mean are things like images, video, carousels, even animated GIFs. So the reason that you want to go for such variety here is because, within your ideal target customer base, there are going to be people who Facebook knows to respond well to videos. Then there's going to be people who always skip the videos, and those people engage more with image ads. And then there's some people who are constantly scrolling sideways through the carousels. The point here is different people respond best to different things, and Facebook knows that. If you were just to run a video ad, they're probably not ever even going to show that ad to the people who they know never watch videos for more than 3 seconds. So this not only gets people to pay more attention to your ads because they're getting an ad that's more interesting to them, but it also makes sure that people will ever even see your ads in the first place. So in other words, this is an excellent way to scale your ads out to a much broader range of people who would still be a really good fit for your business. So within one ad, you can just basically duplicate it and replace your video with an image or with a carousel of images or with an animated GIF, and you may need to slightly tweak the words here and there to make sure it makes sense with your new image or video you're using, but you're not reinventing the wheel and starting all over in most cases. Okay, so speaking of ad types, this is one you won't want to ignore in 2021, and that's the Facebook story ad. So here's the thing, inventory is getting tighter and tighter inside of the Facebook feed, which is why costs continue to rise every single year, but stories are much more wide open at this point. And in case you were wondering, 500 million people are actually looking at and interacting with Facebook stories every single day, so they definitely should not be underestimated. So just like Instagram stories, these are full screen photos or videos that are only available to be shown for 24 hours, except when they're ads, those can show up at any point. And photos play for 5 seconds and 20 seconds max for videos. So you probably definitely want to use a video rather than a photo there. There's no traditional call to action button, but if people swipe up on your story, you can send them right to your offer page. So this works really well to get people to your content or a lead magnet. And here's another little secret. You don't want to go for overly polished here. In fact, stories that look like they were just shot selfie style off the cuff get about 63% more conversions and a 20% lower cost than if it were to look more pro shot. So just make sure you clearly are stating the offer, the main benefit, that's really important too, and give a few verbal calls to action telling them that they need to swipe up if they want to get it. And you do want to make sure here that you give them time to do that. So don't just save that part to the last seconds of the video like most people do, or they won't be able to react fast enough and the moment and the ad itself is just gone. Okay, so now let's talk about a little pro tip when it comes to deciding who to show your ad to in the first place. Now, assuming you're targeting based on some kind of interest, like cycling or Oprah or Forbes magazine, there's a little switch that you can turn on or off that a year or so ago, I probably would have told you to turn it off, like leave that alone. But Facebook's machine learning continues to get smarter and smarter. So I think that this feature is actually ready now, and that's called detailed targeting expansion. And here's how that works. So if you enable this expansion feature and then Facebook thinks that they can get you better results by using it, they're going to take a portion of your overall budget, okay, and they're going to split it between your selected audience and a closely related but broader audience. Then, as the campaign runs, they're going to start shifting your budget to the audience that's getting better results at a lower cost. Think about it like this, right? If you're a yoga studio and you're targeting women who are interested in yoga and Lululemon, for instance, in your area, that would probably be a great fit for a yoga studio, right? But now imagine all the other people who you could be reaching who might be really interested, but let's say they've never really liked an ad from Lululemon in the past, and maybe they've not really come across anything yoga related in a while for Facebook to be certain that they like yoga. But Facebook does have hundreds, if not thousands, of data points than all of us. So maybe all those women who like yoga and Lululemon have some other thing in common too that would lead Facebook to believe these other people would also be interested in your ad. And if you know about lookalike audiences, this might sound familiar to you. It's basically that principle at play here. It's figuring out more people who would be a good fit for you, even if they aren't necessarily inside of that initial interest pool. So when you set up your ad set, you would just choose your detailed targeting as you know it, then just click this feature on, and it can be an excellent way to scale your ads to new audiences. So my next few tips are a few specific types of ads that tend to work the best when you use them in this sequence I'm going to show you here. So the problem most people have when they say Facebook ads don't work for them is they just run ads basically announcing, here we are, right? We're a business, come buy from us. If they're a wedding photographer, their ad pretty much just says, I do wedding photography, call me, But that doesn't work very well because most people are pretty immune to advertising and they need to see the same message like 7 to 20 times before it even registers for them. So this little ad funnel I'm going to show you here helps you cut through that by offering something of value first. So the first ad, the one you'll run to cold traffic who's never heard of you before, is a pure content ad. And now I recommend a short video here where you basically just lay out a solid tip or piece of advice that's specifically aimed at your most ideal customer. So for our wedding photographer example, it might be a video showing the top 5 local locations for getting amazing shots, or 3 new trends that will help your photos stand apart from your friends. Now this video provides a dual purpose, right? It gets the attention of people who would be interested in the services of a wedding photographer in the first place. So anyone not getting married or not planning to anytime soon they won't register for them. It won't be interesting to them, so they'll skip it. But the ones who are getting married, who are looking for a photographer, it's going to catch their attention and they're going to watch, even if it's only for 10 seconds or less. Now, the other purpose is for those people who do watch, right? They're starting to get to know you, your face, your business. And if you do it right, you're going to look like an expert authority on your subject. So that is your level 1 ad. Now your next ad for level 2 traffic will retarget anyone who watched more than 3 seconds of that first video with an offer for a lead magnet or a really good free or highly discounted offer. So if you're promoting a lead magnet, it could be a checklist, a cheat sheet, a resource file, an audio, video training, anything that promises to solve a problem for them or get a tangible result. If it's a free or discount offer, like if you're a vet office, you might offer a free teeth cleaning Or if you're a bookkeeper, it might be half off your first month, right? But if you wanted my opinion here, I would highly recommend going with a lead magnet that gets your prospect's email address. That way, you can continue to offer helpful content over the next few weeks over email, which honestly is still the #1 most cost-effective and profitable marketing channel there is. And of course, you can send them this next ad as well, which is the third in our sequence. Now, this level 3 ad would retarget everyone who either opted onto your email list or visited your website. And this would be basically an objection-busting ad or a series of objection-busting ads. So when we think about the previous ads, they've taken cold prospects from a place of not knowing who you even were to a place where now they know what you do and hopefully what you can do for them. So at this point, anyone who hasn't already taken action probably has some lingering questions or concerns or objections standing in the way. So this style of ad just hits those objections head on and busts right through them. So what are those top 3 reasons that your potential customers aren't taking that next step? I want you to write those down. Don't just have them in your head, write them down and create an ad for each of them. And the format of that ad is really going to depend on what the objection is. So for me, I have a paid program where I teach small business owners everything they need to know to create their own client generating website, everything from the messaging all the way through physically creating the site without coding. So in selling something like that, there's a lot of objections, and I identified the 3 main ones. The first one being they don't think it'll work for their business. The second being they think it's going to just give them some kind of a cookie cutter templatized website. And the third is they wonder if the program will actually give their business tangible results. In other words, is it actually going to get me more customers? So from there, I just created 3 separate ads, each one handling each of those 3 objections. So for the first one, the will it work for me objection, right? All I did is I filmed a short video explaining who the program is for. It's for service businesses who want to use their website to get more clients. Then I showed a few examples of the kinds of businesses that have already had success with it too, to help them understand it even better. So that was just a talking to the camera selfie style video. Then for the cookie cutter design objection, I thought what better way to communicate the variety of what they can do with it than to just show them. Right? So I made this ad, which shows 6 different sample website examples in a variety of styles. Then for the will it get me results objection, I used one of my favorite types of ads that are working really well right now, and that is a testimonial carousel ad. So this type of ad is an amazing way to show the successes you've gotten for your customers or clients, or to just let them talk you up, because 84% of people will trust online reviews just as much as a personal recommendation from someone they know. And that's way more than they would trust just taking your word for it in an ad or on your website. So if you have multiple video testimonials, or even text-based ones, those are okay too, you can definitely utilize this type of ad. So if you've got videos, just clip out the best 5 to 10 second clip for each of them and then reiterate it in the headline with quotes around it. So, and then for text ones, you want to ask them if you can use their photo, and that's going to give their quote more credibility. But the quote itself needs to be super short or it's going to cut off in the headline. Usually what I like to do is just isolate a few choice words from the review. Words like, beyond all expectations or amazing experience. And super pro tip here, if there's room for 5-star emojis, go for that. And speaking of testimonials and the whole idea of social proof, here's another great tip to help you show your prospects that you already have some true fans behind you. Did you know that you can start running an ad to your built-in fan base first? Like people who follow your business page or who have already worked with you. Because these people will tend to be your best cheerleaders and they provide lots of positive comments and likes on your ads. So why would you want to run ads to people who have already bought from you and know and like you? It's really simple and really smart. So what you want to do is run it to those audiences first, wait for some of those positive comments and likes to start rolling in, and then you can simply duplicate that ad, taking all that built up social proof along with it, and then retarget the same ad to your new audience, and that new audience is going to see all those likes and all those comments. Now, this next tip is something I just found out about from one of my favorite Facebook ad experts, and it's going to help you keep your ad costs from rising over time as you begin to fatigue your audiences. You know, what can happen is, let's say you have an ad set for your cold traffic level 1 ad, and it has 3 video ads, each teaching a few tips on it or a new piece of advice. You know, what can happen over time as it starts to show these ads to the same audience, it's going to start showing it to the same people over and over again. And this is actually going to lead to less people taking action and your cost per action just rising through the roof as a result of that. So what I recently learned is if you throw a new ad into the mix periodically, it keeps the whole ad set, including the older ads, operating at or around the same level. It's kind of like when they added Jefferson to Married with Children. You know, just one small addition kept the whole thing going for another 6 seasons. And of course, what never stops working when it comes to Facebook ads is just writing a really good, compelling ad. So I made this video to show you exactly how I write my Facebook ads from start to finish, and even how I choose my images. So you can see my simple framework that I've perfected over the past few years. It's got the step-by-step and plenty of examples so you can get up and running today with your profitable new ads. So click right here and I'll see you in that video.